Ooh. Ooh. I haven't done this in years. I haven't done this in so long. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing tonight? Stop. Okay. So sorry. Hello, 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 hello. Hi. Wow. Brennan, I thank you for your concern. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I thank you for your concern. You should remain concerned. Hi, hello. How y'all doing? I haven't done this in a fat minute. And I'm always worse when not scripted, so I thought I would ruin my career a little bit faster with each new live stream. Hello. I'm an addict. Are we not all addicts? Thank you. Guys, I'll tell you, you know that there's something wrong when you dye your hair more than once in a year. All right, that is a definitive no-no in terms of, gauging whether or not you're stable. I don't care if you're 17 and you're like, I did the trend, like everyone was doing it. No, it means that you are not okay with the current state of yourself. Let's cancel Caroline. Okay. Listen, guys, if I'm going to be canceled, I want to be canceled for something that's like the least respectable, right? Not even like a Chris Chan where you can still joke about it, even though it's absolutely horrendous. It's like, it's no matter what you post, no matter the meme, it's just, all right, this is not appropriate. Webby collaboration. Yeah, I noticed that. This morning I had a bunch of DMs telling me I'm 17. Hello, Charlie. I looked in my DMs and they were like, Webby wants you to come on stream. And so I checked out the stream and, it's, listen, guys, I don't care. I don't think it's a problem. That being said, in general, not cool to sexualize a child, even if it was as a joke. Because I'm not saying it wasn't funny. Of course it's funny to make fun of children that sexually arouse you. That's hilarious. But the overarching problem was that it was disrespectful in the first place to reduce me just to my sex appeal, especially because I was a minor. Now, I know when you say it like that, you're like, all right, well, let's get the fucking lawyers in. No, it's not a problem. It's just that I think everyone should acknowledge that was a kind of weird situation. How it unraveled was even more weird. And the fact that, Dennis is still a little bit defensive about it is just like, it's strange. It's like, then it really was a problem. Then you really are nervous about what you said, when you shouldn't be, because it was a joke. But it wasn't a cool joke, and I don't think you should set the precedent that it's okay to not only belittle female creators, but also to sexualize children on the internet. Not a cool thing to do. Now, I didn't mean to turn into a women and gender studies major, and that's it. I didn't want to turn into that. That's a great way to start the stream, everyone. Dennis? Oh, Wubby. That's his name, right? It was a joke, right? Guys, tell me it was a joke. Listen, I don't think that it was a joke. He was kidding. But it's just not a cool joke. It's disrespectful. You fucking disrespected me. And I didn't feel disrespected. I just mean, like, in general, that's a disrespectful thing to do. Especially because, I'm gonna go into this territory. Female creators are a minority on the platform. That specific audience, it's a minority, and I just don't think that you should be setting a precedent that it's okay to reduce a woman aspirations, just reduce her down to her sex appeal. Not cool, bro. Not a problem for me. Not offended. Don't think it's a big deal. It's just like, consider that. And consider, like, at the time when I was 15, you have people like this joking around on the internet, and you're like, oh, I have no power over this situation. All I can do is be an asshole and fight back and try and stake my claim. But it's weird. It was weird. Are you still dancing? Hi, Lucas. Yeah, no, I am still dancing. I'm going to be dancing for a whole other year while also attending school at the same time. I'm very excited. Very excited. What is the context of this? Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, for those of you who don't know, There's this streamer, Pay Money Wubby. Beautiful guy, very funny guy. Does some consistently fun streams. And when I was 15, a bunch of people sent my videos to him. He made a bunch of jokes about, you know, how he thought I was attractive, and people were like, she's 15. He's like, I don't believe she's 15. And then when he found out that I was 15, his reaction was, oh, well, all of the jokes that I was going to make, I can't make them anymore because she's a minor. Which to me is a little strange, because it's like, why were those the jokes anyway? You know? Why? And that's cool, and that's fine. When, what was it, like a couple months after that, he came to New York and he wanted to collaborate with me, and I was being a little asshole, because I, you know, at the time I was not diagnosed with bipolar disorder yet. I was obviously not medicated, and I was still dancing full time and in high school. And so I was sort of just like, I can't fucking do this right now. And so I called him and I was like, dude, this isn't going to work. And is that unprofessional? Yeah, it was. Can you blame me? No, I don't think you can, because I wasn't a professional. I was a child at the time. But anyways, like, it's no big deal. No big deal. It's just like, now looking at it, it's strange. It's strange looking back at how much stuff I tolerated, because it obviously doesn't bother me, but like, objectively speaking, I've had people sending me rape threats since I was like 15. And like, it seems normal. I mean, obviously it just seems normal. I'm kind of like, yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But does it always have to be this way? No, I don't think it should. It doesn't have to be. So I'm going to put my foot down, right? No harm done. No harm done. But from here on out, let's be a little bit more mindful about what we say in front of younger women, because it might ruin their aspirations. Yeah, he is cool, though. This is random, but you helped me get through so much in my life. Thank you, Enzo. Oh, that's really nice to hear. I've been sending you your funny... What? The whole video is weird to make a joke about a minor, and the fact that you shouldn't make jokes like about girls. Yeah, I mean, it's... Guys, like, I wouldn't have brought... First of all, I posted the video just because, like, my friends and I look at that. I've had that video for, what, like 3 years now? And so that, we just laugh at it sometimes, because it really was just, like, the epitome of all of the weird shit that I had dealt with, all the weird shit that just comes with doing well on the internet, all put into one thing, and it was on this, like, large platform, and so we joke about it, so I was like, oh, okay, perfect, this is the perfect post to put on my birthday. But then when I watched the stream from last night, he was trying to give context to what our relationship was like, but he, in a very negative way, said, oh yeah, she had a mental breakdown, she went to a hospital. And I don't think that was his intention, but it came off as, oh, I'm going to discredit her character. I don't think he meant to do that, but it sounded that way, and it kind of, it sort of made it sound like, oh, it's okay for me to disrespect her, it's okay for me to discredit, like, her discomfort because she was crazy. Guys, I'm not trying to, no witch hunts, all right? We burn those for a reason. They're gone now. Only Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut. That's a very important question that is, I would say, a more contentious topic than Israel and Palestine. You boys and girls know how much I have danced around not talking about that subject. You are giving me huge benefit of the doubt. You're giving him huge benefit of the doubt. No, whatever. Who cares? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Sorry, my friend just sent me a picture of a gay. Israel versus Domino's. Dom, you mean family? Can you sing I Mistake? Weird stuff is weird whether you're a minor or not. That's true. Yeah, no, I think that's also, like, the biggest point is that don't sexualize somebody on the internet that you could potentially work with. And then when you start to work with them and they're obviously in a difficult place, don't make that their problem and say, like, can you believe that person did this to me? No, you started that off on the wrong foot. Now, was I personally offended? Absolutely not. I wasn't. But that being said, it would offend a lot of other people. It would offend a lot of other women, and it would probably keep a lot of women from really trying to covet a particular audience that he has, and that most men have, and a lot of women don't have. And I'm not trying to make this a woman or a man thing. I'm not. I'm just saying, why was that the main focus? Was the sex, why was my sex appeal the main focus? Come on, lads and ladies and gentlemen. Oy. Yeah, feet. Ooh, Insta lives aren't the best. Tell me about it. 6'4" and super strong. I think you're managing this situation very well. Thanks, guys. Really good to hear. No, it's not a situation. Where do you get your confidence from? Do I still talk to Anthpo? Yeah, I still talk to Anthony. We're gonna be going to school, like right across the water from each other, which is cool. And he's obviously very busy, still very successful, very cool guy. Why does everyone want to know your height? I know that's a strange thing. I always have people asking me. I don't. Do you like go to the wall and like notch it off? Like, that's Caroline, 5'7". Are you going to college? Yes, I am going to. Well, okay. Here's the situation. My parents went away on a week's vacation. I am going to school part-time in New York, and I'm also still dancing because I have the opportunity to dance another year, and I also want to get a college education. Very excited. Where are you going to college? I'm going to Columbia, which is a really beautiful school. I am nervous to start there because I have been online schooled all of my life, obviously. So it's going to be great. Finally, the first time going back to school ever, I'm going to Columbia. Very excited. No, it's very cool. Very cool. Very lucky. Ooh. Columbia is now going to receive significantly more applicants. Aren't you scared to be stalked at Columbia? Do I have to be scared? I would hope not. Gonna be a hell of a transition though. Yeah, no, I don't even know. That's probably the scariest thing, is that I can't even imagine what that transition will be like. And as much as I'm trying to prepare for it to make myself feel better, I know that I'm just gonna get my ass kicked, plain and simple. I can't even anticipate the intensity. But I'm excited to learn. I am very excited to learn. There's a lot that I would love to do with a college education, so I'm very excited. Guys, I said I'm 5'6", 5'7". Am I still doing art commissions? Yes. Oh, this is a very good question. So basically what happened was I took all of my commissions like all at once, and I was like, I'm just going to go down these systematically. It's going to be super easy for me to just throw out all these commissions. So I took them from Instagram. I took them from my Yahoo email that started getting hit up. I took some from my Instagram comments, and I still have ones that I'm working on because there were ones that were easy to get out of the way, like pet portraits, regular face portrait thingy. Those were super easy. Cartoons, super easy. But then there was stuff that, somebody wanted a specific style, somebody had very specific, like poses and subjects that they wanted. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the time to do these, and to do them right, because it's a fun challenge. It's just that, I have stuff going on, and getting to all of them all at once is difficult, but I'm still knocking them out. And if you haven't gotten your commission yet, you've probably been in touch with me. Very cool. Are you my mom? Yeah, I am. And I need you to come home because you haven't been home in years. And I miss you, and I want to know, what did I do wrong? Because I was always trying to be attentive, right? And I'm so sorry that I was working so many jobs. And I'm so sorry that your father went out to get milk and cigarettes. And I knew that was bullshit. He's lactose intolerant, but I let it happen anyway. And I knew. What will you spend your commission money on? Uh, living expenses. They need to book. Oh, whoa. I'm getting prepared for senior year at the moment. I haven't even started. I'm about to explode. Yeah, no, I gotcha. What are you majoring in? That's a great question. Because I'm going part-time. I'm going to the School of General Studies, which basically means that you have a different set of requirements than the majority of students. And then you pick your major, like, your sophomore year. And I'm not sure, do you enjoy the music of Anne Murray? Of course I do. And if anyone out there likes Anne Murray, listen to some Joan Baez, because that's another beautiful voice to listen to. Who's the person in your back? Don't do that. Stop, guys. It's not funny. I like your Spotify playlist. Oh, yeah, I guess you have my Spotify. That's cool. Who would win in a chess match, a goblin or a ghost? I don't know that much about goblin lore, but ghosts, they're dead people and they've been around for a while, so I guess they have a long time to, like, work on their opening, whatever. I've been hanging around so many chess guys. There's a specific breed of person who read, like, Plato's Republic and loves J.D. Salinger and also will not shut the fuck up about chess. I have only been around those people recently. So because I feel an intense need to murder them, I'm assuming that most ghosts that could not go to purgatory or heaven are sticking around to play chess. So I'm going to say ghosts would win in a duel between goblins. I'm too intoxicated for this. You're missing an O there, sir, I can tell. Improv a scene from a movie or show you could change. That's an interesting prompt. I like that one. I'll have to come back to it. I can't think of anything. Fucking Dean Norris, the guy that played Hank on Breaking Bad. His Instagram feed is so ridiculous. He just posted today a picture of, like a Photoshop picture of him, joshing around with himself, and the caption is "You sussy baka," and I love Dean. Do you like photography? Thoughts on Jordan Peterson? Jordan Peterson embodies the perfect mentality of a politician, because he seems to be so caught up in his own value system and moral integrity that it almost seems like he has none of those things. And I don't know, I don't know that much about him, but because of that presence that he has, he would be a great politician. Because you could go around like, this is what I believe you need to be better, and I can guarantee this because I have my own philosophy, you hear me? And I will take care of you, give your vote to me, and I will fix you, because only I really know how the world works. So, I think he's kind of a dick, but he's probably a very intelligent dick, and that's dangerous, really. Ooh, Jordan Peterson is too smart for his own good. People that are too smart for their own good don't function very well. I think that he is just smart enough to not feel bad about what he does. Because if he were too smart for his own good, I don't think he would be alive, considering the amount of influence he has. Wowie zowie. Who's the... Stop doing that! Oh, if we're talking about the painting, I have a painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress because when Jeffrey Epstein's body was discovered suicided, they found this painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress. And so I was like, I have to have a painting of my own, so if I'm ever murdered, that I don't get, knock on wood, that I'm not murdered. That will continue the lore. Is Jordan the philosopher? Yes. Shut up, you guys. Stop that. Why would someone not be alive if they're too smart for their own good? The first thing that any existentialist philosopher will say is, it is a joke that people believe in God because no higher power would put together such an insufferable universe. Living is pain, it's not worth it. So if you're too smart for your own good, you're at the point where you're like, oh, nothing that I do matters, and my value system is slowly decaying because I'm, and then those people end up killing themselves. That's horrible to say. That's really horrible to say, and I know that I'm definitely being reductive here. I just mean that I've seen firsthand very intelligent people not knowing how to cope with their own, like, dreadful cognizance, that need to learn how to meditate and stop taking drugs because they think that that's a replacement for meditation. And so when I look at someone like Jordan B. Peterson, I just feel like there's something fucked up there to have so much restraint. Best philosopher to read. Get owned, nihilists. You never see a hillbilly who's just That's funny. I ship you with Jesus. Okay. Teach us to meditate. I haven't been high for 5 days now. Help. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'll tell you something. There was an advertisement I got on my phone today. Obviously, social media has realized that I am just a whore for pharmaceutical companies. But you all know how I feel about medication. Even before I started taking medication, both of my siblings desperately needed it, and they are only the people they are today because they have medication and other experimental treatments that most, like, conventional doctors were not willing to provide. Like my sister, born with you've seen her now, Talia. She's born with a genetic anomaly, a chromosomal deletion, and she had, deformed body parts, and her development would not have been healthy had she not had growth hormone. Now, most doctors were not going to give a baby growth hormone, but then there were some that were like, we've been in this field for a while, and we know that this very scary piece of medicine will help your child. Now, the point is that I'm on Instagram, and I get this advertisement where it's like, finally you have a psychiatrist in your pocket. It's like an app where you can just, I don't know, get a prescription for Zoloft and Lexapro and all those SSRIs. And someone in the comments was like, this is so dystopian. And I understand what they're saying. There's that, Brave New World dystopian novel where everyone takes like this form of opium and they're never truly in touch with reality. And that's why they never question the caste system. They're just, not experiencing the weight of reality. Ignorant and blissful. And so I can see how the idea that everyone taking antidepressants is dystopian, I get that. But at the same time, like, y'all, what's living in the past as opposed to being dystopian? Alcoholism, guys. Everyone was an alcoholic. We have predisposition to addiction because of years and years and years and generations of alcoholism. So it's not unusual, it's not unreasonable for us to say, well, maybe we should take that, underlying addictive behavior and replace it with something that's a little bit more controllable. Something that gives you just enough motivation and mood boosting to make you live a better life. Anywho, super Cliff Notes version of Brave New World. Thank you. I tried my best. Oh yeah, and then there was and then there was orgies, and then and that's pretty much all that it was about. Stop it. It's not funny. It's really not funny. You do more email videos. Sure. Yeah, those videos are really fun. A lot of the videos it's just looking at the questions. It's not like there's any funny content to be made. A lot of it is like, I'm not exactly sure what pronouns I should use because I'm not exactly sure what gender dysphoria feels like. And all of these questions where I'm like, I'm obviously not qualified to answer anything like this. And I don't want to make light of anything because that seems unproductive. I would go so far as to say irresponsible, which is why I'm very excited to go to school, because then maybe I can learn to think real good and learn to learn real things real good. and then I can help people real good. What medication are you taking? That's a great question, because I won't shut the fuck up about it. Obviously, you all know that I'm taking lithium. I take 900 milligrams of lithium. I started out with 1,200, went to 600, and then had to mosey my way on back up to 900 when I had a hypomanic episode in the winter. Sorry. And then I'm taking Lamictal. Lamictal is an anticonvulsant, but they also found that it has mood stabilizing qualities and also antidepressant qualities. And so I'm taking some amount of 300 milligrams of that. Taking Zoloft. Not exactly sure if Zoloft is working, but I'm taking Wellbutrin. And boy, I'll tell you, Wellbutrin is the pill. How was your B-Day? It was really good. It was really all that I could ask for. It was a very comfortable, very satisfying birthday. I woke up, slept in, saw my mom, saw a friend that I hadn't seen in 3 years, which was really nice. Saw my cousins. That was super nice. And then after that, that is between me and these 4 walls. Well, basically that's so long. I know. No, it works for some people. It worked for my brother. I think it still works for my brother. Judging how much medication you take, how much do you feel like a zombie usually? Well, honestly, at this point, I don't really remember how I felt before the medication, but also before, like, the really intense symptoms of bipolar disorder started. I will say, though, that I dragged my heels for so long. I was so vocal about not wanting to live slightly less saturated for the sake of stability. And when you say it out loud, you're like, that's immature. But honestly, like, you know, and I'm really lucky that I have a psychiatrist that works with me. She understands that there's walking the line, really. Understanding that if you do fuck up and you don't take care of yourself as best you can, you will end up in a hospital again. But then acknowledging that there are certain aspects of, you know, this disorder that are a part of myself and a part of the way that my brain functions and the way that I function, and that I can't necessarily suppress that just because it's safer. It's still a part of me, and I would like to be able to experience that's okay. You guys are making me paranoid. It's still something that I should safely be allowed to experience. So I don't feel like a zombie anymore relative to, I'll tell you, I've talked about this a lot ever since I got out of the hospital, but like I was on so many antipsychotics, and it was during lockdown. So I woke up and I had this horrible feeling like I just want to go to bed. Like I don't want to wake up anymore. And had I not been on antipsychotics, obviously I would have been extremely suicidal. And so at the time when I was just like, I want to get off this shit. Like, I don't know why I'm on this. This is terrible. I don't feel like myself. Looking back at it now, I needed that medication. And over time I slowly got off of those meds. And there was this intense fear at the beginning of the year that I was never going to feel like myself again. And I was just, there was the side of me that's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to give up on life. Like, if it's never going to be the way that it was before and the way that I had imagined it to be, the way I anticipated it, the way I believe I should live my life, then I'm just going to do as best I can. And if I burn out, that's it. And so, you know, at the beginning of the year, I just had these what felt like rational, logical, suicidal ideations that weren't super intense until I had like my second hypomanic episode, which led into some pretty difficult depressive episodes that happened around my menstrual cycle. We're really getting into all of this shit. But there was a lot of instability this year. It's the second year out from my first manic episode. My first year of being completely medicated, and it was pretty topsy-turvy. But now, luckily, and hopefully I will be stable, but not only that, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more secure about my ability to be creative, and I'm starting to learn that my bipolar disorder doesn't necessarily have to do completely with my ability to produce content or to paint or to just actually have a good time in life. The other thing that I'll bring up is that sobriety is a really cool thing that I didn't think I was ever gonna have. I just assumed like maybe one day it will happen. And of course that day came, and it came like a flood from God. But what does my psychiatrist think of my videos? It's my psychiatrist follows me on Instagram, and she asked me, she's like, well, I feel like I'm allowed, because you're a public figure, I'm allowed to look at what you do. And in my mind I'm like, no, I feel like because you're my doctor, like you should give me the privacy. You know what, but fine, if you just want to look at my videos, that's fine. I don't know, she's known me and my family for years, actually since my siblings were little babies. My guys, listen, sobriety from, if you don't mind me asking, well, luckily I never did anything. There were no substances that were too scary. We're adults here, and I'm definitely a lot better than I have been, and I think it's okay to talk about it. But I had a problem with alcohol, and then of course, and weed was also very cool. But not once did I want to be doing that. It was just sort of like, oh, I don't know when this is gonna end. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna be myself again. And it just felt like I was running on empty, waiting for something to just magically change over time. And it did. I had to spiral a lot. Every day I was like, how am I gonna keep getting away with this? Because they call it, do I drink anymore? No, absolutely not. No, I can't do anything like that anymore. And it's not even because I have a problem with addiction. I guess I do, but it's more just because I can't fuck with my brain anymore. I self-medicated for a reason, and then once I actually became medicated, I don't feel the need to do those things anymore, and now I can. And prior to all of this stuff happening, I couldn't imagine a life without it. I couldn't imagine living every day without being high or shit-faced. Because I didn't know how I was going to breathe. I didn't know how I was going to hold a conversation. Just stuff like that, where that essence, that part of your soul that is not tangible, it doesn't feel like anything that you can muster up, was like ripped away. And it's very difficult to get it back. And so now that I have it, I wouldn't jeopardize it by using any substances. But it's also made me this prude little bitch, because now when I'm with my friends who are young and they're drinking a lot, and of course they're smoking weed every day, I come in and I'm like, guys, cognitive behavioral therapy is actually a really, it's a way to reframe your thoughts on anxiety so that you can think away your anxiety. And they're like, would you shut the fuck up? I'm like, yes, I will do that, because I'm not helping. Yeah, it's been hard for me it's been a huge transition. How to stop craving weed and whoa, hold on. How do you stop from craving weed and also stop drinking? Well, when you're hospitalized, obviously they don't give you weed for a month. So, and then after that, obviously I had just come out of like a really extremely severe psychotic episode, so I had been like scared shitless, and I was like, all right, well, I'm never doing anything to my brain ever again. That's not true. Actually, when I got out of the hospital, I remember thinking, like, when am I going to be able to smoke weed? Like, how am I going to smoke weed on my medication without anyone finding out? And that happened. I did smoke weed. Even after all this happened, I did it twice, and I flipped the fuck out, and then I was like, I'm never doing that again. you know, with weed, and alcohol too, it's technically a depressant. So if you're doing it every day, you're not going to feel motivated. And then when you stop doing it, you're going to feel a lot less motivated. So it is hard to stop because you are dependent on it. It's not like you have like you have a need to do it. It's just like, how are you going to live without it? It's so much more difficult to live without it. And it takes so much time, and it takes a lot of money to live without weed, honestly. Like, trying to find another way to stimulate yourself. Do you smoke cigarettes? No, luckily I never had any problems with nicotine, not too many problems. Yeah, weed is not fun for anxiety. Well, it can be. It can be a way to just sort of, it's like getting a massage when you're really, really stressed out. It's not actually helping you work more efficiently. If anything, it might be distracting, but it's making everything more tolerable. So you have this sensation of, oh, I'm not stressed right now. This isn't a problem because I'm okay. But then the minute you stop getting that massage, you're like, oh, fuck, my back hurts. What the fuck am I gonna do? So are you a Zionist? I'm not gonna talk about this. Because I, as much as I would like to be the person to take a big stance on something and evoke change and influence people for the better, I'm not. I won't be able to, and I don't want to offend certain people. So I won't talk about it. Are you agnostic? Yeah, I mean, I would love to, yes. Well, yeah, no, I would say I'm agnostic. I don't believe in, I can't believe in God. I really can't. And saying that, I have like this superstitious feeling inside of me, like, oh, you're not supposed to say that, something bad will happen. So there is some superstitious elements to, I guess, my belief system, but really, when you look at the world, and you look at the trees and such, and you look at how beautiful everything is, and you see patterns repeat in different materials and organic materials, and you're like, oh shit, this all came from one thing. There must be some divine creator. That, in a very backwards way, that seems very logical. And it seems very comforting. And while I can't really believe that, I appreciate the thought. So I would say that I'm agnostic. Greetings from New Mexico. Hello. I do wish that it was easier for young people to communicate about their experience with like gender identity in a safe place. Seriously, because you do get a lot of fun kids that are like, that's fucking stupid. You're either one or the other, and it's just not healthy. It's like, okay, fine. So, all right, for argument's sake, sure, you're right. But why can't we have the conversation? What are you afraid of? So, yes, of course I'm an ally. Do you believe in aliens? No. I mean, of course, I'm sure, guys, how do you define alien? Do you know what I mean? Like, of course there's probably something out there, but by our definition of living, of life, of a species, probably not. You see these, like, these articles about how there are, like, unidentified objects that are in space, or in the atmosphere, and, like, the government can't figure out what it is. And it's sort of like, you guys know that some rich fuckhole that made a lot of money to make a drone or whatever, and the government isn't aware of it, and that's what that is. There's no, like, spacecraft. Because if there is another form of life out there, it's obviously not going to process, reality the way that we do. So, how much has Deez influenced your comedic style? Deez and his nuts really have given me the timing, I'm not going to continue with that joke. Coke or Pepsi? You going to college? I am going to college. We just talked about this. Yes, so true, bestie. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Oh my god. Okay, I stopped telling people what my favorite ice cream flavor is because everyone gives me so much shit for it. They give me so much shit, and I know why. Like, I even when I hear myself say it out loud, I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Did I not have a good childhood? Because my favorite ice cream flavor is rum raisin, and I'm not afraid to say it. I also like bourbon. Thoughts on Bo Burnham's Inside? What? I remember, I think I've told this story before. I auditioned for, middle school, and I came for a callback. And I talked about having diarrhea from Chipotle. That was like the first thing that I started with. I was a very professional 12-year-old. And then by the end of it, he was like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be successful. And I was like, awesome, I got the job. Didn't get the job. And I was like, fuck that pity shit. Because I couldn't, he had me read for the main character, and then he had me read for the spicy adversary, the mean girl. And I couldn't do either properly, because I think I'm a healthy mix between an asshole and an asshole, and that really just doesn't target any specific demographic. So from then on, I was like, I hate Bo Burnham. I'll never watch anything he ever does. How dare he not give me that job? And of course now I'm like, oh God, had I watched him when I was younger, I would have been so much less confused about how I process my feelings, emotions, and thoughts on the world. What languages do you speak beside English? Guys, look at me. Do you think I'm bilingual? Fuck no. Yo, Aiden! Wait. Sorry. Oh wait, there are questions. Wait, hang on. Oh, this is an interesting system. This is a really interesting system. Okay, this particular question is like, actually we're just gonna talk about my sister for a little bit, because why not? So does my sister go to a private school? Yes. So when my sister was born, my family was in Florida, and the school district in Florida does not provide a lot of resources to families who have kids with disabilities within their family. And so my parents went to New Jersey, where the school district is a little bit more lenient and a little bit more generous, and they also have better schools, special ed schools. So my parents went to New Jersey, and my mom, without the help of a lawyer, sort of yelled at the New Jersey public school system and said, you are gonna give my daughter a spot at this private school, and you are gonna pay for it. And that's what happened. So yeah, she went to a private school for a while. By the time she's in high school, it's very tricky to provide an adequate education, because for the most part, special ed schools are really targeted, or the curriculum is really based around the behaviors of men with autism, just because that is the most common like IEP, person that needs an IEP, and needs in special ed school. So it was really difficult to find a school that would provide her with the support that she needed, as well as the education that she deserved, and the support to excel past what she was capable of doing. And so that's a lot of trial and error. That's a lot of yelling at the school district. So yeah, of course, like special ed schools are all private, and there are programs within public schools, but more often than not, they're not very good. they're not adequate. An IEP is not enough to help an individual with an IDD excel in the classroom, because it's like you could take someone who has an intellectual and developmental disability and you put them in like a regular literature class, and they'll have an aide sort of try and reduce all of this very complicated information into something that is mildly comprehensive. And it's diluting the whole point of the curriculum, because it wasn't tailored to that person's learning ability. It's just sort of like, we're going to just try and do our best to give you the point, and if you don't get it, fine. That's it. And that's what your education is. And then you have someone who has the capability to have an enriched education and an enriched academic experience. It's just sort of been thrown out the window. And so it's really a disservice to them because they're not able to experience all of the wonders of life. So, then you have 18 to 21-year-old programs, which is basically, yes, you have some academic aspects to the program, but mostly it's just living skills. So you go to pretty much a dorm where they teach you how to cook, how to, pay your taxes, how to sign a check, how to manage a budget, how to do all of it, just basically living skills, how to live. And these programs are super difficult to find. They're super difficult to get into. Some of them are not, you cannot afford, and it's very difficult to get the state to pay for it. And if you don't have those resources and you don't know who to talk to about finding those resources, then your kid may not be able to live their lives the way that they deserve. They don't get to be complete human beings because you did not give them the resources to truly excel past their limitations. So my sister got out of her 18 to 21-year-old program. Now she's going to a program at a college in the Bronx. And that's her, like, it's purely academic schooling. And it's not so much about living skills because right now she already knows how to live on her own. And then from there, it's a really big fucking question mark because, how does she provide for herself, if her job is not, if she can't maintain employment? What happens when my parents pass away? Like, how is she going to continue supporting herself? Because, my parents are obviously not trying to put that on that responsibility onto me and my brother. So it's a complicated situation because it's not just private schooling. After that, it's living. It's like, how does she live? Who does she live with? Who's going to help her? Does she need help? Is she going to be helping other people? How's she going to get medication? How's she going to have health insurance? What happens if, her medication stops working and her parents aren't there and she doesn't have a medical proxy? Who's going to be her medical proxy if her parents aren't there? Who's going to be her medical proxy if her family isn't there? It's all this shit that you have to figure out so early on, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time, and obviously it takes a lot of money, and you're not always compensated by the state. And so, it's a really difficult thing to struggle with that community. It's a community that's constantly struggling to have like a decent life, and it's not always provided for them when it's necessary for it to be provided, which is cool. And I got off, I think I went off a bit too much. I'm so sorry. I'll put that question away. Caroline on YMH. Bro, oh my God. Y'all, if you could get me on your mom's house, you don't know. Excuse me. I have been preparing for that since I was 13. Before I knew any of this was going to happen, I would just sit there and pretend like I was talking to Tom and Christina. I was like, that's, oh my God, thank you. Yeah, no, I've been waiting. I'm just kidding. I will earn that. Also, I just want to burp on the burp mic. Sup, jeans? Thanks, mommy. Okay, let's go into the questions. Foot reveal. Guys, come on. Do you feel comfortable with the gain of following because of this minor modification? This is a great question. My friends and I always joke about how the only reason why I have followers is because I'm an attractive woman, and it's true. I'm not gonna deny that. But at the same time, because I am a woman, there are just some inherent things that I have to be mindful of when I produce content, because otherwise I will come off as, arrogant, annoying, daft, ignorant, arrogant, ignorant, annoying, daft. What was I saying? Oh, right, daft. What? There's just certain things that there were benefits to being a woman, and there were also some not so great things about being a woman and creating content. Is it weird that people only followed me because I was a younger lady that they found sexually attractive? I mean, no, that's sort of the nature of things. It didn't just happen on the internet. It happened in with people that I knew day to day, like in my real life. That is sort of just, that is the female experience. Constantly being sexualized is the female experience. And so when it came to the internet, I wasn't surprised, because that's just sort of how it works. That's just how it works. And are men constantly sexualized? I don't know. I was very certain before, no, that doesn't happen to men, but I don't know. I don't know. But for me, it just felt like this was something that I wasn't going to control. It wasn't something that was particularly offensive because it happens to everyone, because it's natural. Do I want to change it? It's hard for me to say that I want to change nature altogether. That's a bold thing for me to say. You should always respect me and you should never sexualize someone. No, that's how money gets made. Sex sells. So I understood that. That's the fuck. 20 years from now, I'll look back at this and think that it's a horrible thing, because I understood how sex appeal would have benefited my ability to be successful on the internet, and I capitalized on that. And was I doing a disservice to myself? Yeah. And I'm only going to understand that later on in my life, when I realized I should have taken the time to hold people accountable when I still had the law on my side. But, everyone, the weirdest thing is that people were aware. This is the weird thing. People were aware of the joke. It was a joke that I was a minor and that everyone was attracted to me. And everyone would say, oh, Chris Hansen's coming at your door, FBI, open up, all this stuff. And the fact that people were acknowledging that it's a fucked up thing, but then continue to make jokes about it, or continue to use jokes to hide the fact that they actually did have some gross feelings towards a young person, is weird. It's weird because, that is objectively immoral. But again, I'm going to keep saying this dumb phrase, that's the way the cookie crumbles, because that's nature, right? Wubby take incoming. We already talked about Wubby. Wubby was talked about at the top of the hour. Oh my god, it's 1:14. Oh no, that's not good. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I stayed up super late last night because it was my birthday. And then I slept pretty much all of today, and I just realized that I am up at 1:15, which is not a good thing. Because, here's a fun fact, if I stay up too late for too many days in a row, I will go crazy again. So, I'm off to take my medication. I love you dearly. Thank you for watching. I hope that I answered some interesting questions. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope that I didn't cause any problems. Please do not hit up Dennis and give him shit. I don't care. He's a lovely man. And yeah, thank you all for making it to my legality. Bye.